Welcome back to Out Loud. We are talking with Mona Scott Young, the legend, and you've done so much. And a lot of people, of course, know you by your huge, controversial franchise, Love and Hip Hop. Now, what was the inspiration behind the development of this?
It's interesting because Love and Hip Hop was just an extension of what I had experienced and seen as a manager in hip hop. All of those years representing those acts, meeting the women that were in the lives of some of my clients and, the ones that aspired to their own careers. And, at the time we were seeing all of these ensemble female casts pop up, and it was all about give us a world we haven't seen, a world that we're curious about, a world where, things happen that the average person sitting at home couldn't even begin to imagine. And I was like, have I got a world for you? You know,
Yeah, yeah.
so it wasn't like this big stretch of the imagination, and it really allowed me to take everything that I knew and utilize my Rolodex and just kind of make a seamless leap into television.
Would you say it was easy for you?
Um, Again, I go back to the fact that I think I employ a lot of the same skills. My, empathy and my ability to understand people and to get them to figure out what they want to do and how they want to do it, right? Those are some of the core skill sets of being a manager. So when you talk about, incentivizing someone to do something on television, it's like, what do you want out of this opportunity? What is the story that you want to tell? How do you want to be perceived in the world? And then let's figure out how to tell that story. So it's a little bit of those same skill sets. So I wouldn't say it was easy as much as I would say it was something that I had done for years. Now I was applying those skills to a different medium.
I love that, people get to see into a world that some people may throw away or just, kind of overlook or just kind of write them off as, oh, they're ratchet. So whatever. Like they're still human beings. They still have stories and people have reasons for everything that they do. Even
Everything that they do.
that you don't like, they have a
I say it
reason.
all the time. And listen, I say it till I'm blue in the face, so I don't want to go into that whole spiel. But the thing that really sometimes upsets me is, okay, do they sometimes react in a way that's different from
Mhm.
how you and I would react? Sure. But they're a product of their experiences, right? This is the life that they've lived. This is how they choose to react in any given situation. What I hope, and I know that it's happened, is that at times they see themselves and realize, like, oh, I don't want to be this way. I don't want to react in this way. And they apply whatever correction they need to apply to their lives. But the idea that, oh, they're quote unquote ratchet, they shouldn't be on television. You're showing the worst of us or whatever. I'm like, who the heck left you judge and jury? I just feel like stories, everyone's got one. Everyone's got one that is unique to their life, their experiences. We turn our televisions on and we're watching lives that we can sometimes only aspire to, sometimes can't even believe is someone else's reality, right? But the fact that they're willing to go out there and share that, there's something to be said for that. And their stories deserve to be told as much as the next story. Listen, I can go off on a soapbox on that topic. It drives me insane when I hear that.
I'm sure you've been asked this question a million times. Critics have said your show exploits the Black community. What do you say to that?
I mean, when you talk about exploits, right, it provides an opportunity. Again, are you talking about some of the images that are shown that are a direct result of how they're reacting in a moment? Or are you going to take those moments and discount the opportunity that is presented to all of these people by virtue of being on the show? Right? Because again, so many success stories, too many to count, from businesses to, financial stability to an opportunity to change their lives and their circumstances. And to me, that far outweighs those moments that may not even be moments that they're proud of, that they want to come back and make correction around. But I think the idea that it should unilaterally be thrown out. It doesn't deserve a space. These people's stories don't deserve to be told. That's the part of it that I just think is an elitist view that there's no space for if we're really going to look for everyone to have their space within our range of diversity, within the Black community. We come in a very wide range of experiences, of backgrounds, of personalities, of, situations that have shaped who we are. And everyone has his place and everyone has a space. So again, I say, it's the idea that we all have those family members that we're happy to have at the company picnic, right? I mean, at the barbecue, where we love them at the barbecue. They're funny, 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 but we'd never take them to the company picnic. Why is that? Why is that? So again, it's a topic that I feel like I've asked and answered ad nauseum. Yes, it's a double-edged sword, but I certainly would not trade the opportunity that I'm able to provide for anyone's opinion about it.
So would you say that's like the trade-off, like the quality of their life changes, the opportunities that they get from these moments? So that is
absolutely. Listen, the shows that I am able to produce, which will represent, again, the full spectrum, the broad spectrum, I would never have been able to even sit in a room and have the opportunity to do those things without the success of a show like Love and Hip Hop, a franchise like Love and Hip Hop, right? So it has provided an opportunity to create other opportunities and to continue to provide a space and a place for different stories to be told. But the idea that those stories should never have been told is, again, where I take, issue. And so to see it in that kind of very narrow view, to me, is a disservice to who we are as a whole. Every other race gets the opportunity to show the full spectrum. And for some reason, we have to be limited to being, and I say it with all the love and respect, the Huxtables, the Obamas. There's no room for anyone else within our culture, within our race. And it's ridiculous. And it is not an accurate representation.
Well, I definitely agree with you on that. It seems like, when a member of the Black community does anything, quote unquote, wrong or something that we can look down upon, it's supposed to represent the entire race.
The entire race.
Whereas white folks, they can have trailer park.
They can have Honey Boo Boo. They can have all kinds of stuff. And again, the show is called Love and Hip Hop, right? Very specific world, very specific space, very specific experiences to these women. These are the lives that they live. We're not living those lives. Who the heck are we to judge how they choose to react in a given situation? So I'm like, this was never like loving Black people as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's bananas to me. But again, I digress. I don't want to go off on a tangent.
Well, I'm glad we have this conversation because I being a little part of reality TV, I've heard the criticisms on both sides. And then it's almost like a thing of, well, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Is art imitating life or is life imitating art?
Absolutely.
If that behavior wasn't happening, there'd be nothing to shoot. I don't think the shows made anyone do anything. And like you said, there are people that behave like this. There are people that react like this. Your judgment is your judgment.
For the record, our cameras have not rolled in months. And I'm seeing all the shenanigans going on in social media. Listen, it's like.
Girl, this week has been crazy with your peoples.
And the reality of it is, these are their lives. And I'm just like, let them live for Pete's sake. Right. And if, God willing, there's an opportunity that is presented by virtue of the lives that they're already living, let them live. This idea that there is this tribunal, this, Black caucus that makes decisions about what Black people deserve to be shown, it's, again, mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. I need that same energy around voting. I need them to harness all of that energy and incentivize people to vote.
So I know you spoke on this, but what's the biggest misconception that people have about you personally? Because I think people want to put that blame on you. Mona Scott is doing this. Mona Scott Young is doing that. And again, you've said it. You've said that you're not being an elitist. You're reserving judgment. These are these people's lives and they are getting an opportunity. These stories should be told. So would you say?
Listen, there's so many. The list is too many to enumerate. Because, people are going to form opinions. And that's the thing that I've had to come to terms with, right? It used to bother me where I go like, they don't know me. That's not true. Why isn't anyone who knows the truth speaking up? And I realized it doesn't matter because these people, again, don't know me. They're forming an opinion about who they think I am. And just like in any other area of your life, right? You can only be responsible for the opinions of the people who you actually come in contact with, who you actually impact, right? If the people who actually know me can sit there and say these things and know in their hearts that, you know, knowing that these things are untrue, that's one thing, right? Are there outliers here and there who are upset for one reason or another? Absolutely. But as a whole, the people who know me know that this isn't true. So I don't sit around worrying about what people say. That's why on my IG page, you know, my tag is, if they don't know you, don't take it personally. I'm sitting around worrying about somebody who has nothing better to do than sit on, you know, social media talking about somebody they don't know.
I don't like the unfairness and the criticism that we sometimes do to ourselves when we don't do the same to others. Because, you know, when you got Love and Hip Hop off the ground, you were one of very few Black female showrunners, which is an accomplishment in itself. And then we don't hear that same energy for the Kardashians and for Kris Jenner. Right. I'm sorry, those are her daughters that, I mean, she's at a shoot where they're naked. You know what I mean? Like, that's a level of, if you wanna call us ratchet, listen, Black people do not own the patent on ratchet.
Absolutely. And listen, and I appreciate you bringing that up, but you know, part of what I recognize is that it's a different playing field. It's absolutely a different playing field. And I would be naive to say anything different. I know that as a woman, as a Black woman, I'm held to a different set of criticisms, right? I won't even say a different standard, because I function at the highest standard at all times. So no one will ever question or take that away from me. But I certainly know that there are a different set of criteria and a different set of criticisms that are reserved for me as a Black woman doing it. And it comes with the territory, right? I cannot change my sex, and I can, but I won't. And I cannot change the color of my skin. So those are things that I just have to accept, that come with the territory of who I am. And I deal with it every day, and I deal with it with, you know, integrity and with dignity, because it comes with the package, and I get that. I'm not gonna sit around feeling sorry for myself or wondering why me and not Andy Cohen or Kris Jenner or whatever, because, you know, like I said before, we're all a product of our circumstances. And my circumstance is that I'm a Black woman in a misogynistic, sexist, you know, colorist space that is not designed for my success. And I will continue to strive for that success regardless of that. But I just have to be prepared to deal with what comes with that.
I totally feel you, and I wish it would be less from us doing it. It's a circular shooting squad at some firing squad at sometimes. That's what it feels like. Yeah. How we criticize each other way more harshly than outside of our circle. Now, I want to ask you, we have a viewer question from RJ Renee. Mona, what's the status of you and Tamar? Have y'all worked through your differences? And will there be another season of Get Your Life?
I have to be honest, guys, I don't even think Tamar and I had any difference. Now, I haven't talked to her in some time because, as you guys are seeing play out now, there was a lot of turmoil, right, surrounding Tamar. But when we set out to make this show, I think the integrity of what we set out to do is visible on the show when you watch it, right? Tamar really earnestly wanted to take control of her life. She talked very openly about, for years, not having been in the driver's seat of her career and, you know, her marriage, of being subject to the limelight and the spotlight, and having suffered the brunt of that. And there were so many things that she wanted to do that she felt she had never been given an opportunity to do. And when I sat from her in that first conversation, my manager and me kicked in. And I was like, you know what? I feel like there's an opportunity here. If you want to go on this journey, which I knew would not be easy going into this. That's why the whole idea was, we're just going to turn the cameras on, right? And we're going to cover everything. And when it got difficult, unfortunately, it really wasn't even about Tamar. That's the crazy part. You know, it really wasn't Tamar. So she and I have no problem. I have no problem at all with Tamar. I still, to this day, feel like there is so much more to her than even she has had the opportunity to tap. And I was very excited about seeing all of that, you know, going back to what I talked about earlier, that feeling that I get as a manager when I have a small hand in seeing somebody's vision come to life. I really got excited at that prospect. So, I was disappointed. I was disheartened that it didn't happen for her because I know how much she wanted to see it happen.
I heard things about this show from insiders, people that worked on set, and then seeing how it all played out with the boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, wow, she was keeping all that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the thing. It was a lot for her. It was a lot, What you're seeing is only what we captured. I can only imagine what was going on, behind the scenes for her. And again, she really wanted this to happen in the way that she set out for it to happen, in the way that she envisioned it. I believe that because that first conversation, there was nothing, that was a real connection there. So, but I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No. I feel like maybe there'll be even more interest now because now without the control factor of David, which I'm gathering, now she could probably really be hurt because clearly she still wasn't if he was having so much control and influence in the show. It seems like he kind of ruined the opportunity.
It was a very interesting dynamic, I will say that. For someone who didn't want to be on camera, he certainly was on camera. I will leave it at that. I think, again, I keep saying to people, like, you want the truth, you want to know, just tune in. Not to promote the show, although that would be nice, but more because it's all there on full display, right? We did this in a very different way. We pulled the walls back, we tore them down. It was just, we're going to turn these cameras on and we're going to follow exactly what's happening. And, that saying, the camera doesn't lie, is rooted in truth. Yeah. It picks up what's there. So I think
for him, be careful what you ask for, David, because now you got it. We didn't know you were like this, but now we know all about that.
Listen.
Mona, thank you for joining me tonight. I really appreciate your insight. Again, female Black showrunner, yes. Did it when it wasn't popular, did it when it wasn't as easy. She's paving the way for others to follow and to learn from your hustle.
And let me just say this, Claudia, beyond showrunner, owns her own physical production company. That is not an easy feat. There are not many wholly Black female-owned physical production companies. See, people don't know the difference a lot of times when you're an EP versus putting together the construct, the crew, all of the elements of putting the show together. So very few of those, I don't know any others, other than kind of the big kahuna, Oprah herself. So I'm very, very proud of that accomplishment, which is why I say I will take the slings and arrows that come with beating down that path and kicking in that door, so that when I look around, there are many, many more of us out here doing it on this level and on this scale.
Well, you just said a whole word. So all those that are listening and watching and still want to criticize, we don't hear you. Like she said, you don't know her, you can't, she doesn't. What's the saying?
If they don't know you personally, don't take it personal.
There you go. On that note, thank you, Mona Scott Young, and please.
Thank you for having me.
Such a great example, because again, the hard work you put in and your longevity is a testament to, how hard you work and how you're meant to be here. So thank you so much.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Claudia. So good to see you. Thank you for having me.
And thanks for taking a shower for me today. Appreciate it.
I did. I took a shower. I got dressed, put on some lip gloss, all for you, Claudia.
Appreciate it.